His Grace Srila Prabhu. He does it very, very nicely and keeps us all engaged. So hearing Śrīla Prabhupada's lectures is very, very important for all the members in our International Society for Krishna Consciousness, whether one is a new devotee or old devotee, initiated, uninitiated, whoever our spiritual master, Diksha Guru, Shiksha Guru may be. But Śrīla Prabhupada is our founder Acharya, the preeminent Shiksha Guru. And that position is indispensable and unchangeable. So, which means that we all should try to regularly read Prabhupada's books, which we do in our daily reading, and also hear. Prabhupada has given so many wonderful classes, so we should also try to hear those, take advantage of those classes. So that's what we are going to do today, and I'll pass on to dear His Grace Srila Prabhu for kindly coordinating this effort for our purification. So thank you so much, Srila Prabhu. So please start.
Thank you, Shubhilas Prabhuji. It's all with your guidance, and thank you for giving me the service to prepare this lecture for everyone. So let's all go and imagine that we are sitting with Prabhupada right now, because his Vani is so purifying. I'm so thankful to get this service so that I am able to listen to the lecture before and prepare some notes. So I feel this is really helping me, and I hope this helps you too. I think if we all pay our good attention to Srila Prabhupada's Vani, it'll be the best for all of us. So like we usually do, we can first listen to the verse. The verse is from Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam, 5th canto, 6th chapter, 3rd verse, and then we can recite it after the devotees in the room recites it, and then we can start hearing Prabhupada. So I'm go ahead and get started now.
Sleepy.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
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 Tata Choktam.
Tata Choktam.
Nakuryat. Karhichit. Sakyam. Manasi. Anavastite. Yad. Vishrambhat. Shirat. Shirnam. Chaskanda. Tapa. Aishwaram. Tata Choktam. Nakuryat Karhichit Sakyam. Manasi Hyanavastite. Yad Vishrambhat Chirnam. Chaskanda Tapa Aishwaram. Tata Choktam. Nakuryat Karhichit Sakyam. Manasi Hyanavastite. Yad Vishrambhat Chirnam. Chaskanda Tapa Aishwaram. Translation.
We'll take a quick second to recite it ourselves. Okay, so going to the verse. Anybody like to recite the verse?
Tatha choktam na kuryat karichit sakhyam manasihi avasthite yad vishrambha chirachirnam chaskanda tapaishwaram.
Thank you very much, Prabhuji. Anybody else would like to recite the verse?
Manjulali wants to recite. Can you zoom in, Prabhuji, a little bit?
Yes, yes.
Tatha choktam na kuryat karhichit sakhyam manasi hai anavasthite yad vishrambhat chirachirnam chaskanda tapaishwaram.
Very much, Mataji. Anybody like to read the translation?
I can read, Prabhu. Hare Krishna, Dandavad Pranam.
Hare Krishna.
Translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, Śrīla Prabhupāda ki jai. All the learned scholars have given their opinion. The mind is by nature very restless, and one should not make friends with it. If we place full confidence in the mind, it may cheat us at any moment. Even Lord Shiva became agitated upon seeing the Mohini form of Lord Krishna, and Saubhari Muni also fell down from the mature stage of yogic perfection. Thank you, Prabhu. Back to you.
Thank you, Mataji. So we can go ahead back to the lecture. Prabhuji, can we go back to the lecture?
Please.
Sleepy.
Manasi anavastite yad vishrambhat chirnam chaskanda tapa aishwaram tata choktam na kuryat karhichit sakyam manasi hyanavastite yad vishrambhat chirnam chaskanda tapa aishwaram tata choktam na kuryat karhichit sakyam manasi hyanavastite yad vishrambhat chirnam chaskanda tapa aishwaram Translation. All the learned scholars have given their opinion. The mind is by nature very restless, and one should not make friends with it. If we place full confidence in the mind, it may cheat us at any moment. Even Lord Shiva became agitated upon seeing the Mohini form of Lord Krishna, and Saubhari Muni also fell down from the mature stage of yogic perfection.
Tatha choktam na kuryat karhichi sakhyam manasi hyanavastite jad vishrambhat chirnam chaskanda tapaishwaram. So it is advised herewith tatha choktam. Although definitely from where it is quoted, it is not described, but it is heard by the parampara system. That is also authority. It's not necessarily to know where from it is quoted, but if it is current, it is also evident. So it is said by parampara system, we can understand that do not make any friendship or what is called compromise with mind. Do not do this. As I was saying yesterday, my Guru Maharaj used to say that when you get up, you beat your mind with shoes 100 times, and when you go to the bed, you beat your mind with broomstick 100 times. Then there will be no compromise. If you simply beat your mind, that is required. This is Vedic system. And if you want to bring somebody under your control, then you must always chastise it. Otherwise, it is impossible. Chanakya Pandit, the moral instruction, he also says, Lalane bahavo dosha, sarane bahavo guna. If you pat your subordinate, then it will increase the faulty habits. Bahavo dosha. And tarane bahavo guna. And if you chastise, then they will improve. Tasmat sisyancha chhatrancha tarayat natu lalayat. Therefore it is advised either your son or disciple, you should always chastise them. Never give them lenience. So, little leniency immediately, so many faults will grow. Now, for our practical life, we are known all over the world as seven-headed. Is it not? Now we are becoming hair-headed. We are forgetting saving because there is little leniency. Immediately, faulty things are creeping in. So we should be known as seven-headed, not long-hair-headed. This is discrepancy. At least once in a month, it must be clearly seven-headed. On the bright fortnight, on the day of Purnima, 4 days after Ekadashi, once in a month, in the bright fortnight, we must be saved. It is not desirable that in grown-up ages also you should be chastised. That is not desirable. That is also difficult. Because when the disciple or the son is grown up, he is chastised and he breaks. So before being chastised, you should be conscious that this is our rules and regulations, we must observe. Therefore it is advised by Chanakya Pandit, prapte tu soruso varse putra mitravata. After 16th year of the disciple or the son, he should be treated as friend. Because if you chastise when he is grown up, then he will break up. That is also another risk. So our request is that instead of chastising with folded hands, I request you don't we become hippies again by growing hair. Keep your head cleansed at least once in a month. That is my request. Neither I can chastise you. I am also old man, you are young man. So, here the same thing. Rakujyat. Karihichit. Sakyam. To the subordinate, you have never met compromise. You must keep always under control, of course. Similarly, our mind, the mind is the cause of our material existence, mano-dharma. Why we are in this material world? On account of this change of mind. Our position is Jive Swarupa Nitya Krishna Das. We are eternal servant of Krishna. But sometimes the servant thinks, why shall I remain a servant? Let me become master. That is natural. The master is always in comfortable situation. Sometimes the servant becomes envious. Oh, why this man should always remain in comfortable position and we shall serve? Or why not we become also in comfortable position? Let me eat as he eats. Let me sleep. These are so-called comfort. So they want to imitate, or the living being imitates the Supreme Personality of Godhead, then he falls down. Kṛṣṇa bhuliya jeev bhogavansha kare, pasate mayatare jakutiyadare. As soon as he forgets his position, he wants to imitate. That is beginning of Maya, fall down. You should be very careful. Therefore, the Brahmachari, we have to teach the Brahmachari, Brahmachari Guru Kule Basan Danta, Guru Hitam. This is Brahmachari. Not for his personal benefit, but Guru Hitam. Then he is Brahmachari. Not that a Brahmachari has to become a very learned scholar in grammar and studia. These are secondary things. First thing, he has to learn how to control the senses, dhamah, how to control the mind, Samo, dhamah. This is the beginning of Brahminical life. If you cannot control your mind, if you cannot control your senses, there is no question of becoming Brahmachari. Brahmachari, Brahme charati iti Brahmachari. And Brahmana means Brahma janati iti Brahmana. So these are the beginning. Brahmachari. Brahmachari means who is always in Brahma activities. That is Brahmachari. A Brahmana means one who knows the Supreme Brahma, Parabrahma. So if you understand Krishna, then immediately you are liberated. Parabrahma param dhamah, pavitram paramam bhava. So if you understand Krishna, then we are both Brahmachari or Brahmana. Brahmagyan, Brahma-bhuta, these words are there in the Shastra. Athata Brahma jigyasa. Therefore the real life is to inquire about Brahma, inquiring, when the conditioned soul, now it is jiva-bhuta. So long we are conditioned by the material nature. Prakrite kriyamanani gunai karmani sarvas. Bhunte prakritisyani guna. Then we are jiva bhuta. Otherwise, when you come to our real position, that is Brahma bhuta. So that Brahma bhuta position can be attained if we strictly follow the rules and regulations of Brahmachari or Brahmana, then it is possible. Otherwise, it will be simply formality. Practical life, Brahma bhuta. And how do I know that he has become Brahma bhuta? Prasannatma. No more moroseness, always jolly, in any condition of life. Not that for want of these, one is suffering. There is no want. That mentality, that attitude should be increased. And when it is fully increased, then it is fully satisfied. Atmaram. That is called Atma. That's like Dhruva Maharaj. He said, Samin kitarthosmi. Oh, I am fully satisfied. Naivad vidi paradurattaya vaitadanyam tad vidyagayana maha amrite nimagnam. Prahlada Maharaj said, now I am in the ocean of nectar. I have no suffering. That is Brahma bhuta. That is Brahma bhuta. Yoga Indriya Sanjama, and the king, head of the Indriya is the mind. Manasasthani indriyani prakritisthani karusati. We are struggling in this material world, prakritisthani. Bhukti prakriti-jana gunan. Because we are in this material world, there are three modes of material nature. Either of them controlling me, prakriti-jana guna. Therefore you find three kinds of men. Practically we can see a richer class, a middle class, and a poorer class. That is always existing. I thought before going to your country, USA, I thought that the Americans, they are all rich. That's a fact. I don't say that you are poor. You are rich in comparison to India. But still, when I saw that there on the Bawari street, so many drunkards are lying down on the footpath, then I thought, here is also third class. So either by drinking they're lying on footpath, or by becoming hippies, they're lying in the park and the police is kicking on their face. That means that three classes are always there. Either you go to America or hell or heaven, anywhere. Because there are three gunas, satagun, rajagun, tamagun, prakriti-jana gunan. You cannot escape it. There is no question of becoming poor in the Western countries. The government arrangement is so nice. It is still voluntarily they will become poor. That is hippies. Because nature is working. Most of these hippies are coming from very respectable family, rich family. I have seen in Beverly Hills, when I was walking in the morning, I saw a nice boy. There is car is coming from a very nice house, but he is a hippie. I have seen it. Why he has become hippie? Prakriti-jana guna. He might have taken his birth in a very rich family, respectable family, because the mode of nature is working. Voluntarily he has become hippie. This is going on all over the world. Therefore, we have to come to the platform of Satagun, Brahmana platform. Brahmana platform. So one endeavor is gradually to come to the Brahmana platform. But if we take Bhakti Yoga, immediately we become the Brahmana platform. This is the advantage. Kichit kevalya bhaktaya vasudeva parayana agham dunnanti Kṛṣṇena. What is that? What is that word? Nivaram.
Darkness.
I forget. The mist, what is the English? Niharam iva, yes. Niharam iva bhaskara. Bhaskara means sun. So, when there is mist, kuasa, as soon as there is sunrise, immediately, everything. Otherwise, it is very difficult to drive away the fog, the railway train. I have seen it also in the mid-ocean. Immediately there is fog and the ship immediately stops because there is danger of collision with other ships. At least the ship in which I was going to your country, Jaladuta, so the captain, Mr. Pandey, he immediately used to stop in the mid-ocean and giving horn, boom, boom, like that. So that was danger, very dangerous. When the sea is rough, there is no fog. And as soon as the sea is not rough, there is fog. So whether you will go this way or that way, there is misery. Therefore, this world is called dukkhalam asasa. You subdue something, another problem is there. And you solve that problem, another problem. Problematic. Dukkhalam asasatam. Krishna is recommending that this is dukkhalam asasatam. How will subside this dukkhalam asasatam? And our struggle is, Krishna says, this is dukkhalam asasatam. This place is for miseries. And these rascals are trying to adjust things. Bahirarthamanina. These rascals, they are trying to bring peace by material arrangement. Mura. Therefore they are mura. It is not possible. Krishna has made it suffering. How you can become happy here? But these rascals will not understand. Within the suffering, they will try to become happy. That is not possible. The toilet room, you want to make a DT room. How it is possible? That is not possible. So, it is dukkhalam asasatam, and you have to practice tapasya. If you want to get out of it, tapodibbanga kajina suddheta satta. We are now accustomed to this miserable condition of life. If you want actual happiness, then you have to undergo austerity, tapasya. Tapodibbanga kajina suddheta. Jasmat brahma saukhamanam. You are hankering after happiness. That happiness, Brahma Sukh, eternal happiness, you will get by practicing tapasya. So don't believe, don't make friendship with your restless mind. This is the instruction. Don't make friendship. Simply beat the mind with shoes and broomstick. Otherwise cannot bring in control. Another alternative is kevalya bhakta. So if you can engage your mind at the lotus feet of Krishna, then it is possible. Sevaya mana Kṛṣṇa padāravindaya. Then Krishna is control. Krishna means light. Darkness, you are suffering in the darkness. Somehow or other, if you bring a light, there is no darkness. Krishna Sujya Samo Maya Hoy Andhakar, Jaha Krishna Taha Nahi Maya Radhikar. If you keep always within your mind Krishna's lotus feet, you can see Krishna's lotus feet. Diti, Baladev, Balaram, how is nicely standing. You can see the nice lotus feet. Don't try to see the face all of a sudden. Practice to see the lotus feet constantly. Sevaya mano Krishna padara. This is a chance. This temple means to practice how to think of Krishna's lotus feet, Balaram's lotus feet, always. Manmana bhava madbhakta. Immediately you become bhakta. And as soon as you become a bhakta, kechit kevalya bhaktya, vasudeva paraya, dandanti, agham Krishna, all kinds of disturbance will be subsiding. Dandanti, niharam vivahas. This is the Shastra injunction. So in this Kali Yuga, to control the mind, the yoga practice and this practice, it is all failure. It will never be possible. It was possible in the Satya Yuga. Imitate dhamah Vishnu. Now they have manufactured so many meditation. The real meditation is Dhayatu Vishnu, the Vishnu form, 400 Vishnu form, and always try to see him. That is what. These rascals have manufactured something, some light, some this, some that. Yoga practice, sleeping. This is not help. Jnanavastita tatgatena manasa pasyanti yogina. Yogi's meditation means to see Vishnu Murti. That is one thing. But they are impersonalists. Vishnu is Maya. Why shall I think of Vishnu? Let me see some light. What is that nonsense light? That is also Maya. What is the wrong there? Instead of seeing the light, if you see the Vishnu form, no, the light is good. Om is good. But when there is question of personal meditation, they protest. Therefore, tadvijnanatham sa gurumeva vigachet. In order to learn everything very clearly, he must have the shelter of a bona fide guru, adu gudvasram. If we want release from all this disturbance of the material world, then the first and foremost thing is adu gudvasram. Then tadviddhi panipatena paripasnena sevaya upadakshanti tadgyanam jnanina tattvadarshina. Guru means tattvadarshi. Tattvadarshi otherwise is useless, waste of time. One has seen the tattva. Vadanti tattva vidastatyam jajjnanam advayam brahmeti paramatmeti. Guru means one who knows what is Brahma, what is Paramatma, what is Bhagavan. Not partial knowledge. The Jnanis, the so-called Jnanis, they reach up to the Brahma Jyoti, that's all. But that is not complete knowledge. The Yogis, they reach utmost Paramatma. And that is also not complete. Better than the Jnanis, but it is not complete. Brahmeti, Paramatmeti, Bhagavaneti. When it comes to the platform to understand the Supreme Personality of Godhead, then that is bhakti. That is bhakti. Therefore Krishna says, Yoginam api sarvesam madgata antaratmana sadhyavan bhajate dhruva same yuktam. So if you want to be first class yogi, always think of Krishna within your mind, do not make fancy that you have become very much advanced. Now my mind is controlled. It is not so easy, sir. Therefore it is warned. Na kujyat. Kareti. Never trust your mind. Always distrust. At any moment the mind can drag you. The example is given here. Chaskanda tapoisharam. Jad Vishambha Shirani Chinam Chaskanda tapoisharam. Even Lord Shiva is called Mahadev. Not only Dev, but Mahadev. He became captivated by seeing the young woman's incarnation, Mohini Murti. Became so much captivated, the description is there in the Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam. But as soon as the Mohini Murti demonstrated the features of the breast, immediately Lord Shiva became so mad that he forcibly went there and embraced, and there was discharge. Lord Shiva, and what to speak of us, what we are. And therefore it is, Lord Shiva is all right. But by their example, they're teaching us that a personality like me become victimized by this Maya's influence, what you are. Why you should trust and make friendship with your mind that I am now complete, artificially. Don't do that. Therefore it is one. Na kujyat, kariti. Never trust your mind, always try to control, and the easiest method recommended in the Shastra and confirmed by Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Hare Rama eva kevalam, karuna seva. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, everyone. Hope you all enjoyed the wonderful lecture by Jagadguru Śrīla Prabhupāda. So wonderful. He quotes from all the scriptures, Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavatam, and Chaitanya Charitamrita. For every instance, he has wonderful examples. So next step is we just have some discussions on the different points. So I have prepared some questions. The basic topic for today's Prabhupada's lecture was about the mind. So the first question is, why should we chastise our mind? Anybody would like to come up with their thoughts?
We chastise our mind to control our mind, Prabhuji.
Anybody else would like to add any points?
Because the mind is not our friend.
Thank you, Prabhuji.
Even the great souls like Lord Shiva, they cannot trust their mind. So what to speak of us?
Hey Krishna Prabhuji, because they say because the mind is the king headed by our senses. So in order to control our senses, it is very important that we should control our mind also.
Very nice, Mataji. Thank you very much. Anybody else would like to add any other points? Even Srila Prabhupada's master, Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur, said something about chastising the mind. Anybody remembers that?
Beat it with the broomstick in the bedtime and
Yes.
shoes or sandals or in the morning.
Yes.
100 times, I think he said.
Yeah. And Prabhupada mentions about chastising the subordinate. Anybody would like to add on any of that aspect of the mind? Why is it subordinate?
To bring anything under control, you have to chastise.
Yes. So what I was looking for was the soul and the intelligence is higher than the mind. So the mind is subordinate that way. So if we nourish our intelligence, it can subordinate the mind by chastising it, not let it wander. Any other points?
I was just thinking, like, what is meant by chastising our mind, and how do we do it? Like, we beat our, like, what is meant by beating our with broomsticks and shoes? If we can discuss that point, do we like take a stick and beat on our head, or like? I think we need to discuss this point.
Yes.
To beat or chastise, yeah.
The first chastisement in the morning is to chant Hare Krishna. That purifies the mind. And we chastise the mind also by taking the instruction from Shastra and Guru.
Yes. So, Prabhuji, does that is that discussion covered? That we have to beat or chastise our mind by purifying our mind with our daily practice of Krishna consciousness, starting with chanting, worshipping the Guru, and following his instructions. Just like we have to clean our body when it's getting dirty, our mind is getting contaminated with whenever we associate with material nature. So the practice is very important to keep our mind clean, and that's by chastising the mind.
That's wonderful. I was also thinking, like, by regularly reading and hearing scriptures, partly covered, yeah, it's covered. And then saying no to the demands of the mind, like mind is like a restless child. Saying no when it is not good for our bhakti. That's also, I think, chastisement. Because the mind will keep demanding so many things for the senses or for the ego. Yes. Thank you, Prabhu.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Very nice. Okay, so we answered this question: what is higher than mind or the senses? It's the soul and the intelligence, and also the ego that Prabhuji mentioned. If we get to true ego, that we are the servant of the Lord, that will make sure that everything flows correctly. But if we think we are the proprietor, our mind will get contaminated. So number 3 is, Prabhupada mentions that mind is the cause of material existence, mano-dharma. Anybody like to elaborate on that?
Prabhuji, because of mind, we want to enjoy in this material condition and think ourselves like we are the master, like we are the controller, which is totally wrong.
Very nice. Thank you, Mataji. Any other points?
Mind is the seat of all desires. Based on the desires, we keep moving in this material world, getting different bodies.
So,
The mind is that entity which we use to reach out with the senses. It directs the senses to go find satisfaction in the material world. So when the mind is not purified, the rascals continue to seek satisfaction in the material senses. And when the mind is purified, seeks satisfaction in serving Krishna.
yes, Prabhuji, thank you very much. So it seems like we are here, we have a mind, but we can be in spiritual world if our mind is pure. So when our consciousness is not Krishna consciousness, then we are in material existence. But otherwise, if we are fully engaged in Krishna consciousness, we are actually in spiritual existence, even though we are in this material world.
Yes, and that is done under the direction of the Guru.
Yes, Prabhupada.
Because without superior guidance, we will become illusioned and make the incorrect choices.
We have 15 questions, so that's why I'm moving fast. Why, as soon as you forget your position, you want to imitate? Anybody would like to add any points on that? What you understand from that?
Because of the Maya or illusion.
Is that where Prabhupada said about Acharyati Sreshtam? Like, or maybe that was in CC class today. You try to imitate the higher authorities so that you can follow in their footsteps.
This was kind of the opposite, like the servant wanting to be like the master because he sees that the master is comfortable. So why not? I can. So thinking that we are the proprietor and want to enjoy instead of serve is so.
Sorry,
We
Prabhu, this
forget our
morning we had
position.
Chaitanya Chaitamrita class and the topic was Yadya Acharyati Sreshtam,
Yes.
so I read the question wrong.
Yes, Mataji. So yeah, so this is one point that Prabhupada mentioned about sometimes the servant wanting to become the master. Any other points on that?
This is the position of the conditioned soul in the material world. We've come here to imitate Krishna.
Yes, thank you, Prabhuji.
It's also the power of Maya to make us think that we can actually succeed.
Samo-dharma. Why is controlling mind a beginning of Brahmacharya? Prabhupada mentions about Brahmacharya is following the spiritual master and serving the spiritual master, then Brahmacharya begins. So as long as we think that it is for us, then we are not in Brahmacharya. Anything else? Why, if we know Krishna, we are Brahmana, Brahmachari, or Brahma-jnana, or Brahma-bhuta? So what is the difference between Brahma-bhuta and Jiva-bhuta?
So Brahma-bhuta is in the self-realized soul, and Jiva-bhuta is conditioned soul, thinking oneself to be the body and just busy in material life.
Prabhupada also mentioned a point that the symptom of a self-realized soul is always satisfied and happy in every situation. Which I was thinking a little bit about. How can a person be happy seeing the suffering in the world and still be satisfied? Since his consciousness is good, shouldn't he be slightly sorrowful for the world who is in Maya? Anybody in the senior Vaishnavas, can you help me with that thought?
Yes, of course, there'll be a feeling of compassion, but it also begins with realizing that this world is full of problems. You solve one problem and another problem comes. And Prabhupada gives the example of the ship on the sea, when there is always the fog, when it is peaceful water, and when it is rough water, then it is also dangerous. So problems are always there. And when we realize that's our condition, then we begin to have compassion for others.
Yes, thank you, Prabhuji. There's also the paradukha dukhi, right? So we see a lot of suffering in the world. So even if we are at the stage of not feeling suffering, we still see so much suffering everywhere. How can we be peaceful with that? Should we just say that's the nature of the world, so let's go back to the spiritual world, the practice? That should be our... Yes, Mataji.
So two things come to my mind, and this is my own opinion. Even Lord Nityananda Prabhu didn't start preaching until Lord Chaitanya appeared, and he gave him a direct order. So it's also that we wait for the proper timing to inaugurate Sankirtan movement, or we wait for the authorities to guide us and really help us start that phase if that's the right time. And second is like in the airplane it says that you adult must put on the mask on themselves first and then help other children. Sometimes it may take a little time for us to be ready to go on preaching, And enthusiasm is good, preaching is always good, but if you don't feel ready, there's no need to rush it. Does that help, Prabhu?
Yeah, yes, Prabhu. Yes, Mataji. Okay, Prabhupada mentions about Dhruva and Prahlada, say that they're fully satisfied. There were some quotes, and we all know this story. I'm not spending too much time there. We're almost at time. Three classes of men Prabhupada mentions about rich, middle, and poor. And Prabhupada talks about the poor men in USA, though they are materially affluent, they take up drinking and alcoholism, and they're lying on the street. So they choose to be in the third class, the hippie. So Prabhupada mentions that the three modes of material nature is present everywhere. And there are three classes of men, even in heaven, earth, or hell. We'll find the three classes of men. Prabhupada mentions about why we cannot bring peace by material arrangements. We know that in everything in the material world is create a problem and try to solve that problem. So this coronavirus itself caused due to meat eating of poor animals, and now we are trying to find the vaccine. Maybe the vaccine may have side effects, and then we try to solve that. So we are just going in an infinite loop of entanglement when we just look for material solutions. Please interrupt or add any points if you want to. So Prabhupada says, don't make friendship with your restless mind. I think we already discussed this point, that about even Lord Shiva couldn't control the mind, so never make friendship with the mind. Always keep mind subordinate and think that the mind will be carried away. What is the alternative to beating the mind? Prabhupada mentioned this about kevalya baktaya. He mentions about using the mind and having in the mind Krishna's lotus feet.
Krishna and Balram. And we are reading in 8th canto, 10th chapter, 4th verse, Narayana Padashraya.
Yes. So how to get Krishna take control of our mind?
To always think of the lotus feet of Krishna.
Yes, Prabhupada mentions about Krishna being the light, Maya is darkness, Surya Sama. Yes, thank you, Prabhuji. So if we keep Krishna in our mind all the time, he will control the mind for us. Why should you keep Krishna's feet always in your mind? It's the same as the previous question. Prabhupada mentions not to see the face first. Always look at the feet. Anybody like to add any points on that?
We are Dashanudasha of Lord Krishna. So looking at the feet will give us the feelings of a servant, of the servant.
Thank you very much, Mataji. And something we have read about etiquette also in a temple, to always take darshan of the Lord's feet and slowly move up to his lotus face. What's the best kind of meditation? Prabhupada was rejecting meditation on light or Om.
This meditation is meditation on Krishna's name.
Yes. In the lecture, Prabhupada mentions about
Good job.
Lord Vishnu's
Good
form
job.
also.
Good job. Good job. Good job.
Good job. Why should you not make friendship with the mind even though you have controlled it? Yes, we discussed this point about. There were two examples, Lord Shiva and Shaubari Rishi. Shaubari Rishi. Anybody knows the story of Shaubari Rishi?
He was doing tapasya for many years, and in the water he saw two fishes. And just by seeing those two fishes, despite doing so much austerity, his mind got agitated. He came out and wanted to get married right away.
Yes, Mataji. Thank you very much. And he got married to 50 daughters of a king, and then after sense enjoyment, he was sitting and thinking, why did he fall into this? And he was trying to remember, and like Mataji said, he remembered that when he was meditating in a very secluded place, the only thing, his mind got carried away by seeing those two fishes. Okay, any points anybody would like to raise that we didn't discuss today? I think we covered everything then. Thank you very much. Prabhuji, please, if you'd like to take over and guide us.
Thank you so much, Sivilas Prabhu. Very nicely you organized this for our purification, and thank you to all the devotees as well for your participation in hearing our preeminent Shiksha Guru. And Prabhupada's position is very, very unique for all of us. It was, it is, and it will continue to be forever. So we should not compromise on, Prabhupada has spent so much time, energy. What he has done, no one did in the past, and no one will be able to do in the future as well. So we should, as a duty, gratitude, service, not compromise on Prabhupada's books or hearing Prabhupada's divine words. So thank you so much for your enthusiasm and participation. Jagat Guru Śrīla Prabhupāda ki jai, Granthāraj Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam ki jai, Samaveta Gauranga ki jai. Vanchākalpatarubhyascha kripāsindhubhya eva
Evacha patitanam pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo namo namah Anantapati Vaishnavanda ki jai. Hare Krishna, Dandavata.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.